All right, greetings everyone. It's afternoon on Sunday, and we are at day 20 of this journey to wholeness that started after inspiration from a morning walk. So, before we get too far in, and while we wait on folks to join us, I want to go ahead and anchor in our space by connecting with the energy of the air in the east, energy of the fire in the south, energy of the water in the west, and the energy of earth in our north. Connecting into the heart, connecting into the earth, connecting into heaven, source, the sun of our sun, the beginning and the beginning of it all. As we make that connection, breathing in, breathing out, connecting with you, wherever you are, connecting with you at this time in this now moment. And I'm thankful. So, welcome everyone. Day 20, we have been walking, and I'm just so honored that so many of you have saw fit to accompany me on this walk. Today, I'm intending, it's middle of the day, it's late actually, but I'm still intending on taking the children to the beach. We're gonna go to the water and bring in some sunshine, some light in that way. So today we're gonna talk about being light, and what that means as a simple truth, as just what it is, as a what it is statement around our journey of wholeness. Being light, for many, seems far-fetched. For others, you absolutely know what I'm talking about. You absolutely know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, inside of yourself, as I say, I am light, you find yourself saying, I am light too. So as we create space for those who may not be there in their frequency and their vibration on their journey to wholeness, today we're just going to talk about what it means to be light. I've spoken at times around the elements, and there's a reason why I began to anchor in the energy of the elements as a part of this process and holding space. When we begin to recognize the elements, it's a building block to our understanding of ourselves. And as beings who are born of this earth, everything that we need comes from it. We grown from the foods that we've eaten, the minerals, the vitamins, the oxygen, everything that we have has come to us from our relationship with this earth. And this earth is a harmonic convergence, really. I'll use that language here. Is a harmonic convergence of our elemental forces of air, our words, breath, gas, our air, our water, our fluids, our blood flow, our lymphatic drainage, even our secretions, aspects of our water. Yes. And our fire, our heartbeat, our passion, our things that drive us. Our fire is also something that we can use to burn each other, or it can be something that we can use to guide each other, right? And as I said in the beginning, our earth, what we're made of. We're made up of dirt. We're made up of food that came from this earth. So as we link into those energies, and we come back into the space of what does it mean to say then that I am light? Quantum physics. I love quantum physics. In fact, the more that I began studying energetics, and the quantum level of understanding of who we are, the more it has brought me into alignment with spirit. With the divine principles of order and reciprocity and generosity. Like, there is this ebb and flow that we live inside of. And in quantum physics, we understand light as the building blocks for it all. Light with intention. Light with intention. So when we begin to understand the quantum level, the quarks, these little particles that show up as symbols, most of them show up as symbols. And then you start getting like, what are you talking about? There's probably someone who's like, what in the world is this woman talking about? Quantum physics begins to talk to us in the language of symbols, shapes, patterns, forms, all of them existing in a harmonic relationship between light and dark, that which is and that which isn't. And what isn't can come into the is with just thought, but that's a whole nother level of dialogue. When we begin to understand that we are talking about shapes and symbols, then we start talking about energy. Energy as light. Energy that has been traveling and spiraling and dancing that is way beyond most of our comprehension. However, if we can understand the as above, so below idea, if we can accept as above, so below, we come into a conversation around, so I just simply need to shift my eyes to begin to come into alignment with this above and below, these elemental energies, air, fire, water, earth, spirit. What is this? That is who we are. Each of these elemental energies carry energy. They carry light, life force, a vibration, a frequency. And as such, we can choose to align with these things. I know. I'm going way in. I'm going in on some things that some people may absolutely look at and say, you stepped off the deep end, Ama. But I have to share with you, in our journey of wholeness, in our journey of being complete in ourselves, we cannot dismiss that we are driven by a heartbeat. When you were just a baby, someone felt or heard with a tool or with a Doppler, somehow they were able to create resonance out loud so we could hear your heartbeat. That heartbeat is how we signify that life has begun. That heartbeat. Most don't understand, though, that our heartbeat is an electrical function. It is an electrical function. Our heartbeat, that is. And as such, if we can understand that our heart is an electrical, we can understand that we have a heart fire, a heart flame, a heart energy source. And that heart energy source is doing two things. It is teaching us and guiding us. It's fueling us. It's doing more than two things. And I don't know why I said those two. That was real random. It's doing more than two things. But we can speak from the space of our heart fire is teaching us and guiding us. And we're having experiences that sometimes bring us into relationship with our heart fire or out of relationship with our heart fire. But eventually moving into the place of being at one with our heart, with our light, with our purpose. Yesterday we spoke about unconditional love. And we spoke about love and being love and as love because we have to, in our journey to wholeness, there's either love or the absence of. There's either love or the absence of, the idea of fear, things that keep us from moving towards love or finding a way to accept love even when it's not there. We have to find ways to fill up our own cup, we talked about. How do we fill up our own cup as opposed to trying to get fed from people outside of ourselves? The same thing is true for light, but the difference is, as each of us dare to shine our light, it doesn't diminish. Me shining my light does not diminish my light. Me sharing my light does not do anything but increase the radiance of the light between the two of us, or the three of us, or more who are gathered together. So as beings of light who have a fire, a heart fire, that is absolutely sending out a call to us, what shall we respond to? As magicians, I believe in magic, right? As magicians, it's very important that we begin to learn our own power. And so we have these experiences that bring us different kinds of feelings. And those feelings are to guide us so that we can begin to align and master the energies we wish to hold regardless of what's happening outside of us. As beings of light, our goal, our job is to exist, to expand, to grow, to learn. But more than anything, simply to exist. We can't get it wrong. One of the teachers I've listened to, her words fall out of my mouth. You can't get it wrong. You'll never get it all done. So what happens when you lean into the idea that you are light, that I am light, that she is light, that he is light? It changes. If we live with light and love, it changes us. We begin to witness the places where we fall short from that, and then we strengthen ourselves. We find the places where we find abundance of it, and there's so much gratitude either way. But as we move in the resonance of being light, we find ourselves in alignment with our higher self, the part of ourselves that exists outside of these physical forms, these earth suits that we're wearing. As much as we've grown accustomed to them, it's just flesh, and it will pass away. But that heart fire, that part that said, I will, that beat, it doesn't go. They said energy is neither created nor destroyed. And because energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it can't be. There is an understanding then of timelessness. And this is a part of the unraveling of the cords and the beliefs that have bound us. So easy to have binding beliefs. We live in a society that's built on social constructs, which are beliefs and agreements. And the idea of these things coming apart can feel like you're being undone. I'm being undone as I deal with these different people and all these things. And we are. At times I feel like I just need to rest. I need to recover from the interactions. And then I do. And then I do recover. I rest, and then I recover. And I come back to my calling, which is to be light. How can we be light? How can we share light? If I believe that I'm light, but the world is so dark, then what can I do? You can get into alignment and watch language, right? So part of some of the ways that I work to be light is my smile. I try to share that smile, and I try to make it true. I want to feel my smile. I want to feel it, because if I feel it, there's a likelihood that you feel my smile too, right? That doesn't work sometimes for some places. Sometimes my being light is my singing out my pain. That's a different shade of light, right? It's a different color. Still light though. It's light exhibiting its truth at that time. So I sometimes talk about the difficulties. How is that light? Because light isn't always this positive, pie in the sky thing. We were built and sent here to experience life on this earth as human beings. So as we are being human, we're experiencing things, and our feeling of it, our allowing of it to be a teacher, takes us further along in our journey of light. It expands our capacity to find love again. It expands our capacity to be love again as we allow our light to guide us into our darkness, to be the light that we carry as we deal with the things that show up for us. It's so easy to continue to point the finger outside of ourselves at people, places, and things and the darkness that exists in our world. And there are those who benefit from us keeping our eyes on those people, places, and things outside of ourselves that lead us to believe or to agree. See, the world is dark, right? And you say, yes, it is. See, the world is full of pain, right? And you say, yes, it is. And as you're agreeing in your manifesting ability that's coming through, you are making more of the same. I do it. I just was struggling through it today. I looked at it, I was like, oh, there are some things I need to release. As I'm talking about being light, compassion, self-compassion. Spoke to one of my friends today. I appreciate him so much. He's just a stranger who has become a dear friend. And he shares, and I let them know how I was feeling bad because I slept and I didn't do the things I needed to do. And, and they came back to me and he said, how grateful he was for who I am and how I worked to show up and how he had been tired and his friends had been tired. And it felt so good to almost like, so I'm not I almost was able to give myself permission again to put it down so tightly, what I was holding on to, and be okay with rest. Be okay with it not happening perfectly, but perfectly happening. Light, finding its way to shine through whatever part of our lives we are experiencing. So, as we are on day 20 of our wholeness journey, I invite you into a space of how do I recognize my light? Who is shining a light on me? What is the person? What is seeing? What is observing this light? Is this my light? Seeing, observing, experiencing light? Oh, it gets interesting. It gets interesting. But on our journey to wholeness, we have to remember our journey of wholeness. We have to remember that we are light. I am love and I am light. And all these things happening, so let's go here. Some people still have the belief that the things that happen are because they're terrible. The things that happen are because they're not worthy. The things that happen are because. And all of those becauses have often to do with how terrible or all these low frequency emotions, these low frequency feelings and thoughts, as opposed to the thing just happened. And we get to tell the story about the thing. So if we get to tell the story about the thing, I then challenge you on your premise. What is your premise? Is the beginning of your story, is it based on, is your life experiment? Because you're experiencing this. Medicine, we don't know. You make a choice every time. What do we get? So in this life experiment, what is your premise around what you will create with this journey of life that you're on? If your premise is the world is dark, if your premise is all things are out to get me, if your premise is people are terrible and evil and the world just sucks, if this is your premise, you will, my dear manifesting friend, create more of that. You'll have it abundantly. Because life will give you the opportunity, spirit will give you the opportunity, free will will give you the opportunity to experience and know that reality. It's not the all of it, but that's the perspective that you might have chosen as your premise to live out your experiment of life. But what if you change your premise? What if your premise is all things are working towards my good, even if I can't see it right now? That all things are working towards my good. And if I can keep this little light of mine shining, I will be able to give form to those shadows and then give rise to what those things are in reality. Teaching tools, opportunities for growth, scenarios that I experienced, that I co-created. And in your light, you begin this new journey, this new allowance of greater light, greater understanding. Enlightenment is understanding. When you bring light into these places where there has been darkness and misunderstanding or poor understanding, we get to choose what premise we wish to engage in our life with. Shall we engage from the place of all things are working to my good? Or shall we engage with the idea of everything's terrible and we have to run the race over and over again? I invite you to join me and as we ebb and flow with it, right? There's no expectation you're going to stay there all the time, right? No expectation you're going to stay there all the time. It's a full belief that you're going to come in and out. We're going to come in and out. We're going to come in and out of this. But as we get closer and stronger relationships with our higher self through that channel that's leading us up to light, eventually we begin to just drop down into reality, into this, I guess you say, the only words that are coming out is this 3D reality. We'll drop down here, but we won't stay. It won't be our home anymore. As we practice being light, we can stay in light. Stay in our true nature as light. Work with each other as beings of light. So I thank you all for joining me on this journey. We have one more day on this particular journey. I'm now going to grab our book, Spiritual Growth, Being Your Higher Self by Sanahara Ama. We have been journeying through this book since day one, different pages, seeing what the messages are. But as we if the desire is wholeness, the stories that keep us cracked and broken will be revealed. And it's good to allow the light to shine into those stories. Allow truth, allow love, allow peace, allow hope. Allow it. And see what comes through. Well, let's see. Expanding and contracting time. We've spoken about this before. And I will tell you how I came to this conclusion even before I read this in my own life, in my own journey. I came into relationship with expansion and contracting of time when I began understanding the idea of a camera lens and zooming in and zooming out. There are times when we need to zoom in on a situation, and there are other times when we need to zoom out. And this allows us to be able to take higher perspectives or get up close and personal when we need to. This can help you with staying in your light-filled space and understanding what you may need to do with that person, that situation, that thing. There'll be some scenarios and situations where you need to get up and close, like, oh, I need to get closer to this because you realize it needs some attention. And there'll be times when you realize I've been paying too much attention to this and I need to zoom out. So giving you that idea now on being light, it speaks to us about time, expanding and contracting time. You can change time by being fully present and focused on what you are doing. Time in your dimension is taking on many of the characteristics of time in the higher dimensions, but everything is simultaneous. Being in a higher state of consciousness when you do things allow you to use this new kind of time more effectively. Learn to be fully present, aware, and focused on what you're doing. You have probably experienced time standing still when you were doing something you loved. You were so absorbed in what you were doing, you weren't even aware of time passing. You transcended physical linear time and experienced the no time of the higher dimensions. Experiencing intuitive multidimensional time involves becoming one with whatever you are doing, being so absorbed that you and what you are doing no longer have separate boundaries. It is as if you have extended your consciousness to what you are doing and it is now a part of you rather than something outside of you. Artists know this state in the moments when inspiration pours through them and time disappears. In this state, you can do hours worth of work in minutes, for you have transcended your normal linear time. The way to have more time in this new wave of energy is to raise your vibration and handle things from a higher level. You do this by doing things only when you are in the right energy space to do them, when you can put your full attention on them. If you aren't in the right mood to do one thing, do something else you are in the mood to do. Trust that if you aren't in the mood to do something, there is something else that is more important to do at that moment. When you aren't in the mood to do something, you are more separate from it. While you are doing it, you may be thinking of other things. When you are not one with what you are doing, you operate in linear sequential time and things take longer. Things that aren't done from a high level will usually be more work, may have to be redone or undone, and may create more time-consuming tasks in the future. Learn to be in the experience of what you are doing so thoroughly you are one with it as you do it, and you will be working with time as your higher self. Many of you spend more time and energy worrying about doing things than doing them. How often have you put off doing something thinking it might take too much work, only to find that once you were in the mood to do it and got started, it was easier than you thought? If there is something you keep putting off, let it go for a while and stop making yourself wrong for not doing it. Sometimes pressuring yourself to do something makes it harder to start. To create more time, watch your words and thoughts about time. Do you say to yourself or others, I never have enough time? I am so pressured and I wonder how I'll get all of this done. Your words, thoughts, and beliefs are creating your reality. So begin by telling yourself you have all the time you need. Start saying such things as, I have all the time I need. I do things in a relaxed, focused way. Even if you don't believe this at first, your words and thoughts will soon create this as your reality. That's from page 141 in Spiritual Growth. So thank you all for joining me for that lesson. As we move into the energy of being light, we're going to begin changing and you're going to feel weird. You might feel absolutely like just the weirdest person around your group right now, but you're not alone. Many of us are coming into our power, our access to our truth. And for those who are still operating in this world, which is really the majority of us still the majority, I would say, it's going to take even more of us to normalize these new ways of being and the work of unraveling generational beliefs. We're going to have to get all of our cells to agree. And our cells, our DNA patterns are being reformed even as we speak. So I'm going to go ahead and play the bowls, calling in greater light, calling in alignment and congruence with our light. And I welcome you to make yourself comfortable and just experience these sounds, these frequencies as it relates to you and I being light. Come in, come in, come in, come in. Come in, come in, come in to me. Like come into me. Oh, light, come into me. Oh, light, come in to me. Shine through me. Shine through me. Oh, light, oh, light, I am 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 light. I am light. I am light. I am Shine your light. I am light. Shine your light. Send love from your heart to the world. As you breathe in and out, send light and love to the world, to your family, to the people on your street, to those who you find coming into your mind effortlessly. Send light, share light. As more comes through you, share, share, share. I'll share. So, thank you for, got hot there. Thank you for being with me during this meditation. Thank you for opening yourself to more light and the space of being light and working and shining your light. We need you. Our world needs all of us doing as much as we can in the ways that we can. Recovering when necessary, resting so that we can keep going. Ebb and flow, ebb and flow. So blessings to you all. Blessings to you all. Tomorrow we will come together and I'll tell you what tomorrow's topic will be already. So these last few days I said I knew what they were ahead of time. When we did love yesterday, I knew today would be light. And tomorrow we will spend time on the I am. The I am that I am. As we walk in our wholeness, we begin to align with our truths. I am that I am. So that's where we will be tomorrow as we bring this part of my offerings to you to a space of completion. This will be on YouTube for those who like to keep up or revisit. And I just thank you. Thank you for who you are to me, and the work that we get to do together. All right, so blessings to you until we meet again. Peace.